Hello and welcome to Australian Transformers Weekly. We're bringing you Transformers news from around the world, and we're talking about it in Australian time zones and with Australian accents. This is episode 208. We're recording live on Friday, the 31st of January 2020. I'm getting a little bit ahead myself. This episode, we'll be talking about new Earthrise figures, new movies, a Cliffjumper with his own identity, and there's more than just the figures that are currently out there to collect. It's a bit of a cryptic clue that. It's a bit of a cryptic clue that Brad's put in the intro for the run sheet, and to be perfectly honest, having looked at the rest of the run sheet, I'm not sure what he's talking about. Let's find out. Welcome to the show. I'm Jason. Joining me this week, we have Daria coming to us from Canberra. How are you going, Daria?
Hey, yeah, all right. How you all doing out there?
We're less on fire than you are. How's it going? Are you safe? Are you well? Is it stinking hot?
In reverse order, yes, it is stinking hot. I am kind of well, and we're as safe as one. This part of town is as safe as one can be under the circumstances.
So your answers in forward order were yes, yes, and yes, and the answers in reverse order were yes, yes, and yes.
If you like, yeah.
Yeah, sure, okay. Alan is also that chuckle you can hear is Alan coming to us from Melbourne. So I believe both Canberra and Melbourne have been hotter than Sydney today. Yes. And I saw in the news that Hobart was hotter than Darwin. Just in case anyone's worried about global warming, don't worry, the science is still out, but holy shit, Australia is on fire. And so, Alan, how are you doing down in Melbourne there, where you've had a 40-degree day today?
Oh, yeah, hot and humid down here. I'm just trying to keep cool.
Can I point out the irony in you being the owner of the Prime Shrine and wearing a Decepticon hat onto the show?
Oh, well, you got to represent sometimes.
Diversity.
I had a bad day.
diversity in Decepticons. Oh, there we are. Yep.
Oh, that's a pretty neat shirt.
It's one of many Prime shirts.
I've also started a bit of a collection of Prime shirts. Yes. Look, it's been a few weeks since we've been on the air. A couple of weeks, maybe two, maybe three. I can't keep count. Also, I don't think we've actually had you guys on the show this year, so it has been it's been an entire Christmas and New Year since we were last together. Tell us what's been up, what's been happening. Have you had a Transformers-y Christmas and New Year, and did you get some new figures for us to talk about later in the show?
I did, for sure. Yes, I've had a few Transformer-y things going on for sure.
Yeah, I only got the one new figure, but it was one of the ones I'm waiting for, so I'm good.
Fantastic. And Alan, you took care of the Australia Day barbecue effort for the club down in Melbourne there.
I did, yeah. Had a few new faces show up, and they all came along and had a bit of a play with the figures, and I had some on display as you do, and a couple of games and entertainment set up. It's always a good yearly event, I reckon. Good for the club and the community.
Excellent. Yeah, no, it's always a good time. I haven't been to one of the Melbourne Australia Day meetups, but I would like to at some point. So, yeah.
Well, when everyone rocks up and there's all the free food and Transformers everywhere, it sort of goes up from there, really. Yeah. It's always fun to see the ogling of collections and can I have a touch of this and because I've got my man cave is pretty much open for inspection basically, and
you should probably run tours.
Any new member that comes along gets a tour of the Prime Shrine, number one, and the collection. You got to pay homage to the Prime Shrine, as you know.
Yeah. Oh no. I've been there. I've prostrated myself at the foot of the Prime Shrine. I get it. And then I patted your dog, who's very cute.
You did. You even helped add to the Prime Shrine. Even though that's a weekly thing, unfortunately. But yeah.
pretty soon, I'm pretty sure the Prime Shrine is actually going to take over an entire wing of your house.
Yeah, it's struggling. It's moving upwards and outwards. I think
Hey, look! I've got a Prime sitting in front of me. Have you got this one?
Yeah, I think I've got two of that one.
He's the Transformers Tribute Pack one.
Oh yes, I don't know if he's a different recolor or anything, but I do have that one.
There are a couple of different colors on him, but yeah. Look, I've undertaken a project while we've been away for a couple of weeks. If I'm just going to give myself the screen for a little minute. So by exposing the full screen behind me, you can see how much of a mess my study is. But you'll also notice that the shelves behind me now have lights on them as well. So I thought I would just talk very, very briefly about my little handiwork project. And to do that, I'm going to put the news screen into the stream because I've got a little bit of a photo album there from some of the lighting. Now, I'm going to jump to the end first because the finished results is the thing that you probably want to see, right? So, my collection.
See that? Oh yeah.
Yeah. So my collection display space is 3 IKEA Billy bookcases. It has been for a while. I moved house last year, and I haven't really been that happy with the study room that I'm in the new place, and it's sort of stopped me from setting up my shelves for a long time. But I've set the shelves up now. They're probably bolted together in the corner, and with the installation of the lights, which I must say credit where credit's due. I stumbled upon a video on YouTube a couple of weeks ago from the one and only Bobby Skullface, and he had a bit of a tutorial going on how to install IKEA Northfly lights, which is what I've got in Billy bookcases. And so I looked at it. I decided those are actually the lights that I want to put on my bookshelves. I've been looking at the idea of installing light strips for a really long time, but the light strips are not very directional. And so I figured I need something to push the lights in the direction that I want them to go. And so the Northfly lights I discovered pretty much do what I want on that front. So you can see like there's a metal enclosure. The light strip is sort of in the back of it, so it does direct the light into the shelf. And yeah, there's a couple of photos of me sort of like putting the lights in and wiring them up and doing a few things. And I'll just, if I move this away for a second, if I come back here and put myself on full screen, the greatest thing about this is that I can actually turn the lights on and off with the remote control, and also with Google Voice Control as well. So
that was going to be my next question.
Well, go on.
Can. I haven't hooked it up to Google Voice yet, but I literally set the remote control up 5 minutes before the show started because I thought I should really do that and show it. So yeah, I've you can see the cordless drill. You can see the cordless drill there. Yep. I've screwed the brackets onto the shelves, so like there's no going back from here. Though I mean, like I could always unscrew them. There's only 2 screw holes. But yeah, so there's just like a bit more detail on there, and so the lights install like that. So there's a bit of a work in progress getting them up and running, and there's the finished result. I chose not to light the bottom shelf on the big bookshelves because I'm probably just going to put some boxes and storage there, and I don't need a light on that.
Those are characters that look like they're either flying or standing. Are they on top of perspex, or are they actually attached to the backs?
There are some. Let's see. Did I put one down here?
Like razors or something?
Yeah, there's a couple of risers in there, and I don't know where I've put them, but they are $2.80 acrylic risers from Daiso.
Yeah, I got those. They're good.
Look, if I'm perfectly honest, they're a little bit taller than I would really like them to be, so I may go back to Daiso and see if there's something shorter. But I'm happy with them. I'm happy with them because it allows me to sort of like put a character in front and a character sort of staggered behind and raise it so that you can still see everything. I don't really like having too crowded shelves. I think the top shelves are probably a little bit crowded on both sides at the moment, but I'll take care of it eventually.
It's very well done.
Yeah, I'm impressed.
It's taken a long time to get to here.
Well, it's good to refresh your collection, and you get new appreciation for certain figures. Accidentally in the process where you're reposing something that you've moved, and you can rediscover your figures in a way.
You can. I've sort of I feel like the figures that I have on my shelves my collection on the shelves hasn't changed in a while, and so I've sort of taken a bit of a look at it and thought, right, I've got the animated Auto Troopers, but I don't need to put 3 of them up, so I can put 2 of them into storage and just put 1 on the shelf as a sign of hey, yeah, I do have that. So there's been a couple of things where I sort of needed to make a bit of a decision like that, and it's still a work in progress. I don't think anyone's ever truly happy with their collection display. I think everyone likes to tweak it now and then, but yeah, that's it is what it is. Shall we get on and talk about some news?
Yes, please.
All right. We're going to move swiftly on and get to the news.
Straight into news.
Hasbro news.
That will take us into some news.
What news comes from by yonder?
There's a bit of exciting news this week as we actually, I think TCCA, by virtue of Andrew Hobart, one of the members in our group who did also tip off Ozformers, but Ozformers can be a little bit slow, discovered and we publicised that the Cyberverse Deluxe figures that I spoke about on the show last episode, they have made a retail release in Australia. They carry along their Bumblebee Cyberverse Adventures branding. You can find them currently in Toys R Us at $40 a piece, which is way too much for what they are. Or you can apparently find them, they're just coming out in some Kmart stores as well in the last couple of days at $29. Much, much better.
Yes, yeah. I actually was one of my acquisitions this week. I've got one. So,
who did you get? Or spoilers.
Spoiler, Shockwave. I really I like it. It's very 80s retro looking, and there's compatible parts and the effects that you mentioned. They're really good. I'm happy to put them actually next to, the Siege figures in a way.
I find them a bit small, but still pretty good, especially next to each other. Like they go well with each other. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I like them as a non-buffed up Shockwave. Like early days young Shockwave. You know what I mean?
Young lanky Shockwave.
Yeah. He's got he's all full of life and fluoro pink. It's really cool.
Yeah. He's like the Shockwave version of skinny Chris Evans.
Yes.
Well, he's a scientist, so
Daria, I'm assuming that nobody is a Cyberverse collector, but are you interested in collecting these Cyberverse figures?
There's a few I'm looking at picking up. I'm looking at using them to populate the Quintesson things because apparently this is the year of the Quintesson. They're actually doing Quintesson figures for the first time since Alpha Quintesson.
Spoilers! That might be in my acquisitions later.
What a coincidence!
Yeah. What a wacky coinkydink.
And of course, Grimlock because Grimlock.
Do they come with the extra add-on parts and for the builder figures as well?
No. So the builder figure is only on the deluxe class figures, and
I've got one.
Yeah, so there's the 4 in the current wave, and there's 4 more coming out later this year. So you'll need to buy all 8 figures in order to complete Macadam. And I actually have no problem with buying all 8 of those figures. I really actually quite enjoy the first 4. So I'm looking forward to Hot Rod and RC and Grimlock, and I don't know who Thunderhowl is, but whatever.
Yeah, I had a bit of a twinkle inside of that moment where I think I might be getting them all, and what shelf are they going to go on?
Yeah, I do, as you can sort of see with the shelves behind me, right? I do have a problem in that there is no space for Cyberverse figures on those shelves. So I do actually feel like I need one more shelf. We'll see how I go. I may yet add a shelf somewhere in this room, but it probably won't be behind me. It'll probably be on the wall next to me. We'll see how we go. Anywho, besides these Cyberverse figures making their way to retail, we've also seen a little bit of a leak today, and if I'll have to like zoom this in from a store listing that's showing War for Cybertron E for Earthrise. There's a full listing there showing that Hasbro Australia appears to be getting and distributing the full set of wave 1, probably wave 1 and 2 combined, I think, by the looks of this, because there's 8 deluxe figures, and there's 3, 4, there's 5 Micromaster patrols. So, like this is definitely more than just one wave of figures. But as mentioned, Year of the Quintesson, there is a Voyager Quintesson Judge and a deluxe Quintesson Alicon, which I think is one of the alligator. Not the judges, but let's just call them the bailiffs from the Quintesson's courtroom. So it'll be really nice to see if they come up looking sort of anything like the G1 cartoons. But I don't believe we've seen a photo of the Earthrise Quintessons yet.
Yeah, no, it's been a long time coming for some of these figures. I think so, but I'm looking forward to all the people that like doing the whole movie themes are definitely looking for, I think, as an option.
Yeah, if you are looking for Earthrise figures, you've got a couple of choices. So you can wait another month. It looks like it's going. So it's the 31st of January. So like another month puts you into March. March is apparently the official street date for these figures in Australia. But if I just click onto the right tab here, there are definitely figures being shipped and arriving around the world. This comes courtesy of Toybox Soapbox on Twitter, who is a lovely chap that I've met at TF Nation a couple of times now. So this is the Voyager class Grapple, who has just arrived in his quite happy palms to receive him, and he'll be taking some photos and putting them up later on. Check him out on Twitter at Toybox Soapbox. But it just goes to show that there are definitely Earthrise figures making their way out there. And in fact, last episode we spoke about the surprise appearance of Earthrise Optimus Prime in Thailand, in Bangkok. Turns out that was indeed the first time that anyone had seen Earthrise Optimus Prime in the flesh around the world. Our friend Nathan, who's Ham Man reviews on YouTube, he took a few photos of the box, and they got echoed around the echo chamber that is the internet, with the first look at the Earthrise artwork on the side of Optimus Prime's box. So good on you, Nathan. Thank you for sharing the photos with us as well. And so Earthrise is really starting to hit shelves now. There's Micromasters, and I think Optimus Prime and Apeface have been spotted in the US at I'm not sure if it was Target or one of the stores there, but yeah, it's on its way out. Something else that's exciting that happened this week is news that there's 2 Transformers movies in development at Paramount. Now, it's been a little bit of time since we heard about a Transformers movie. Bumblebee was Bumblebee 1 year ago or 2? I feel like Bumblebee was
2. It was 2018. I was just thinking about it.
Yeah, so it was end of 2018.
End of.
Right? Yeah, he's a year and a bit. Now, one of the most unusual things about this is that it's been a long time since we've heard any sequel news. It's been a long time since we've heard about Transformers news at the movies. And so the franchise's cinematic future has been a bit up in the air. We heard briefly that they were even going to head back to The Last Night and make a sequel to that, which some of us actually would be interested in seeing that, because the cinematic Unicron story is something that we thought might actually be interesting, but it ain't happening. What is happening, however, is a sequel to Bumblebee, imaginatively currently titled Bumblebee 2, and the other movie is amazingly said to be based on Beast Wars. It will be the first time we've revisited Beast Wars in quite a long time. It is coming up for its anniversary. I think it was its anniversary last year. Although Beast Wars went on for 3 years, so there's plenty of time for it to be an anniversary. And I'm not entirely sure how confident I am that we're actually going to see a Beast Wars movie. These these projects are in development, and anything that is development could be dropped like a hot potato by the studio if they decide that it doesn't present an option for them going forward. Alan, would you go see a Beast Wars movie willingly and happily?
I was just thinking, I think they would want to maybe retell that original story of the first season of it, but I got a feeling they would modernize it and try to go with the whole, War for the Planet of the Apes type thing. Try to get them in modern times, modern animals, and have the actual modern humans probably somewhere in the mix instead of cavemen.
Maybe. Now, we had actually heard that there was going to be a full CGI movie a while ago, so maybe that's what this has come of. Like, maybe it will just be a full CGI movie, no humans, no nothing. Who knows?
Oh, there's plenty
A
of
lot of people were impressed with the Cybertron bit in Bumblebee, which was basically that. So they've got something to be going on with that. They're not completely shooting blind.
Yeah, they should definitely go on that path. Like, everyone that got excited over the first 5 minutes of Bumblebee, they should go, right, let's package that and give that to everyone. That's what I would like to see.
That's true. So perhaps out of this, we are now missing out on that fully CGI Cybertron-based movie. But you never know. That might still figure into the sequel to Bumblebee. And it's too early. It's too early to say what we expect of the Beast Wars movie. As I said, I kind of expect the Beast Wars one to fall by the wayside and them to push forward with a Bumblebee sequel only. But we'll see. One of the problems, not a problem. I'm just feeling a bit negative. The writer that they've attached for the Beast Wars movie is James Vanderbilt, who is the writer of such cinematic amazingness as Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Oh no!
And Zodiac, which wasn't Zodiac like the weird Jim Carrey serial killer one?
No, it was about. It didn't have Jim Carrey in it, but it was about the true story of the Zodiac killer. I think that was probably the more well-received movie of the two. I don't think superhero movies were his thing. Yeah,
maybe not. They also have Joby Harold, who is best known for his work on King Arthur, Legend of the Sword, and he's working on The Flash at the moment. He's also attached, possibly for Bumblebee. It is interesting that they're actually finally sort of looking beyond sort of the Goldsmans and the I can't remember the two guys who now do Star Trek. And that's probably why they're not available to do Bumblebee, to script these movies, get some fresh blood in. I'm just not sure whether or not that's the blood that we need in the writers' room. We'll see. This also does mean that the massive Transformers writing room project that they were so big on a few years ago, that's gone. Whatever they came up with in that writers' room, forget it. They're not doing it.
Yeah, no, that sucks. I don't think that actually does suck. I think it's probably wisely dropped because it's all probably tied into the Bayverse. But no,
I wouldn't be surprised if that was all tangled up with the often mentioned big shared Hasbro cinematic universe, which I don't think is an imminent thing either.
No, we really don't want that. Like that actually. I'm willing to go out on a limb and say that's actually what I think dooms the RDW version 1 universe.
They just need to get the ball rolling with some animated movies, like the DC Marvel, mainly DC, their animated movies, just straight to DVD. They could do movies based on short runs of comics that was successful.
That would actually be really interesting to see them sort of take that on because it's a long time.
I don't know.
Yeah. It's a long time between Transformers appearances at the movies at the moment. Like I mean, even when Bay's in on it, it's 3 or 4 years between the films. It's been a couple of years since Power of the Primes was our last seemingly somewhat adult-oriented thing. We know that War for Cybertron is coming to Netflix sometime this year. We don't really know when, but yeah, no, it's just a long time between it. If they actually just had a team of animators actually working on bringing these known stories And they don't have to be serialized. One doesn't have to follow the other. They can just pick and choose things from a known story universe and actually animate and tell these stories. So I think there's something to that. I'd really like to see that happen.
Yeah,
I think the DC straight to DVD model is a pretty good one to look towards. They did some good things adapting known stories, which then gave them, once they were successful, a bit of opportunity, I should say, to mess around and try other things.
Yeah, and I've seen some good animated features still coming out. That Batman ones. There was Batman versus Ninja Turtles one that came out just recently.
Yeah, imagine anyone 20 years ago there was going to be a Batman versus Ninja Turtles cartoon.
Yes. I honestly still don't know what to make of that, but that's fine. I don't have to make anything of it.
There could be a Transformers versus Ghostbusters. Who knows?
Maybe. I mean, they could adapt the movies for that. Adapt the comics for that. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so look, there's the takeaway news is that it's very early days. There's 2 films in development, one Beast Wars, one Bumblebee sequel. We don't know what's going to happen to either of them yet, but you can bet that we'll be keeping a close eye on it and taking a look.
Yeah, until we see some screenshots or something.
Yeah.
It's way too early for that.
Yeah.
They haven't even got a script.
Yeah. Look, we'll just keep it waiting.
This is actually this story follows on a little bit from last week's discussion of the Optimus Prime box. That is our friend Nathan Hamman Reviews Knee in the background here, showing off the artwork from the Earthrise Optimus Prime box. The interesting thing here is just how many things and how many characters and how many figures are included here. Like, oh dear. What can we see? We can see Quintessons, we can see Unicron, we can see Prime, Megatron, there's Nemesis, there's Narc, there's Hound, there's Wheeljack, there's Trailbreaker, there's Blur, there's someone who looks like Bumblebee but could be Hubcap, there's RC, there's Sideswipe, there's Shockwave, there is a Soundwave just hanging around behind Shockwave as well. There's so much to see in this artwork, and it's given a lot of Transformers fans a lot of pleasure. Just looking at this and trying to discern what they think everything in it means. So this might be a hint of things to come in Earthrise or in whatever part 3 of Earthrise is also going to bring us. But I think the biggest thing on here is obviously Unicron up in the top left corner. He's not necessarily going to be a part of Earthrise, although I'm pretty sure they have spoken about Unicron as being a part of War for Cybertron.
Well, the way this is looking, I would guess rather that him being off in a distance and tiny is like a way of saying he's coming, but he's not quite here yet.
Which is absolutely true. He's another year away, isn't he?
Yeah. Just a shout out to all the pre-order people.
Yes. So there's also a sort of a tech spec style secret printed text on the box that you can see as well. This one's showing up the text Micron, which is a nice sort of reference to Micron change. And this one actually does seem to certainly be a Galvatron, which we're hoping is better than the Shithouse Titans Return version.
Yeah, I'd say so. Whoa.
All right. Don't know what that was, but that's all right. So Figure King magazine, every time Figure King magazine comes out with a new issue, lots of websites grab it and scan it and then proceed to examine it. Now, this one is here mainly because like all the Studio Series figures, not that interested in, but that little thing at the bottom left of the screen there, which I'm not sure if I can zoom in on it. It doesn't seem to be working for me. That is the 3A Deluxe Soundwave and Ravage. Now, that looks pretty cool, pretty astonishing. The 3A figures they're articulated, that they don't transform. So there's a lot of moving parts in there. And if you're looking for a Bumblebee movie accurate Soundwave, that is probably your best bet. It looks pretty great. Those figures, I think they range between about $300 or $400 Australian. So yeah. So they're quite detailed. I don't think they're quite that big, but they are quite detailed.
There's definitely market, fans that after those special, it's sort of not quite masterpiece, but it's something else,
I've been saying for a while that I think there's space in the market for something that's above masterpiece. And like Masterpiece has sort of been moving into that space itself, but I do think that there's a higher end gap there, and maybe the 3A figures are it. Like I don't have to put Soundwave on my shelf in like tape deck mode or whatever. Like I'm happy to have them in robot mode. So maybe the 3A figures are where it's going to be at for me for my collection for the future. We'll see.
Yeah, if you're really into character rather than being overly concerned about their alt modes, these will be good, because that's a great representation of Soundwave, the character, the guy from the movies or whichever you're ascribing him to. And if you're not especially bothered about being able to tinker with him into a tape player and what have you, then that's great, because it's a bit like what Action Masters reported to be all those years ago.
Well, no, you're exactly right, because Action Masters were one of the first attempts that Hasbro actually had to marry up the cartoon representation of the figures versus the toy representations, and so that's exactly what 3A's done here with a perfect physical representation of Soundwave as he appeared in that movie.
Yeah, and I think for all those people that was looking at the screenshots and had it on loop when he showed up in the movie, the trailers, this is for them.
I think they may have already pre-ordered it.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. There's a couple of other pictures have come out, I think, courtesy of Takara Tomy this week of the new Earthrise figures. So there's sort of a clearer look at Starscream. There's obviously someone's deleted the stand from the back as Starscream is connected to something there that's really holding his weight very well. I don't know. But yeah, so like we're looking at Siege Omega Supreme there with Earthrise, Starscream, Ironworks connecting up at the front. There's Hoist up the front. So yeah, there's a lot of new things there. There's the Micromasters turning into their weirdo gun mode. The Micromasters going well with Ironworks. Ironworks is a figure that a lot of Transformers fans are really looking forward to in Earthrise. So I suspect that one's going to sell quite well when it makes it out here.
Oh, that's some good stuff.
Yeah. Who's up for what figures in Earthrise? What are you guys interested in?
I think them. Well, I mean, I'm always going for the G1 characters, obviously. But any of the little characters that make good use as being, going with the bases or with the Titans or as weapons, I'm down with all that too. So even like the little guys that attached onto Starscream there, whether that peg system is compatible with any existing characters, have a bit of fun with it.
Yeah, I'm certainly after that wheel jack, so my Energon downshift can stop subbing in for him. And Grapple, because I only realized when I went to look at mine the other day that I in fact do not own a Grapple at all. So this is the perfect chance. And I'm guessing if there's a Trailbreaker in fact he was on the picture, so yeah. The Trailbreaker and Hoist inevitable pairing.
Yeah, so I called out Hoist here, but it's actually the two Micromasters together because it just happens to look like Hoist's colours. But where one goes, the other inevitably follows, whether it'll be in Earthrise or in whatever Part 3 is called. But we'll find out.
I think it'll be very hard with that nostalgic value of a lot of the characters for people just to not buy them. They'll see it on the figure and they go, "Oh, I got my beaten up G1 at home. I'm going to take this one and play with it. It's fresh new version."
I hope so. I think this has been the first time for a while that they've sort of gone really all out with the sort of the G1 characters. I mean, we had Universe and Classics for a while, but this is something else. Like this is a major push for a year's worth of toy line instead of sort of just meandering through a sort of a multi-wave release cycle. But they're great updates to these figures, and I've even heard of some people selling off all of their G1 figures and just going with the modern representations of them because they're a better figure, they're more articulated. Dario nearly just had a fit when I talked about that, but that's okay.
I can understand that. I'm just knowing how attached some collectors are to their actual factual G1 figures. is what makes me, well, not. I'm certainly not appalled. I'm more surprised.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I was surprised to hear it, but those people exist.
Yeah, I mean,
I've been like that.
Yeah,
I mean, because I'm a sort of fiction first person, it's actually something I can see myself doing. But knowing how many toy first people there are out there, the idea that someone would still have good G1 figure to sell and sell it on this basis is surprising.
I don't know if it's well. I guess some people might sell them off and sort of stock up on these figures, but I feel like a lot of the people who do that, they're just sort of like, wasn't really that into it anyway. So yeah. Well, we're getting into third party territory. This is the longest news section that we've had for a while. So let's enjoy it. So, Lemon Tree is a new third party company, and this is their first figure, the Purple Potato. I say Purple Potato. In all seriousness, it's Purple Potato. It is a Shockwave that I'm not sure if we've got a picture of his. No, we haven't got a picture of his alt mode. But this Shockwave transforms into the Nemesis, the Decepticon headquarters / warship, and it'll be interesting to see him in his alt mode and see how sort of a good a representation of the Nemesis is. But there is one thing that you can certainly say about Shockwave and the Nemesis is that they are both definitely purple.
Yeah, I don't know about the scale issue would go with every.
No one's ever cared about scale in Transformers.
It's like an Astro Chain situation, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. It is. Also, the fact that Shockwave played no part in anything to do with the Nemesis, but
Yeah, I don't think Shockwave, as far as saw, so much as set foot on that ship. So
he's also famously missing his gun hand. But,
I was about to say that.
Yeah.
After Black Hand Gate with Optimus Prime, there's going to be some way.
Well, there could be an attachment or an accessory we don't know of yet. So
it's true. It might be like the Cyberverse one where the gun gets put into his hand. We'll see.
maybe
Sorry, Dario, what were you saying?
Well, this is just a render, so they've got plenty of room to maneuver.
They do. Alan,
maybe Hasbro will step in and give him a hand.
I think if Hasbro steps in, and they'll probably give them the boot. But
Well,
I think you have the third-party companies coming along and doing their third-party accessories. Why not, someone else just come along? Here, you have a gun hand.
maybe. Let's move on. We do have Flame Toys. Flame Toys are back with a new model kit. This is their Furai model kit for Devastator. Now, as we've seen with all of their releases, they are slightly stylized. They seem to thrust their hips forward in a very sort of manga style pose. And Devastator is no different. He does appear to be saying, "Here are my genitals, please remove them." But they are great looking model kits. If you're into this stuff, you'll enjoy it if you get it and put this together. We did also see an electroplated version of Gravity Builder is coming along. I think it's like the wait, let me check my notes. It's the 14,000th re-release of Gravity Builder in different colors. So they're definitely milking that mold just almost as much as Hasbro milks all the Seekers. So yeah, look, there's the Flame Toys Furai Devastator model kit will be coming out soon enough. I'm not sure if we actually have a release date on him just yet. World's Smallest. Now, have either of you two picked up the world's smallest transforming Transformers over the years?
I think I've got a Prime.
Do you have an Optimus Prime? Yeah.
I've got a handful of them here and there.
He's in there.
Yeah, I'm quite fond of the original World's Smallest, so I'm really interested to see how they sort of bring the name back and reuse it. They're obviously very, very different figures because they don't transform this time out. But I am still interested in collecting tiny Transformers. Now, what we're seeing here is that there's a while we've got the picture of the three of them in individual packs out there. There is a 3-pack that ships for US $25. So yeah, if you're interested, that seems like a better deal than the Reaction figures that have just hit Australia. They're $35 a pop, and they are not big figures. I King's Comics had them in stock, and I went in a couple of weeks ago, fully intending to pick them up and buy them, and I picked it up, and I was just like, that is tiny. I can't spend $35 on something that's that tiny. Of course, then I went and bought something from Make Toys, but I just couldn't bring myself to do it. I just felt like they just weren't enough for their asking price. Yeah. These guys, at least, like, their gimmick is the fact that they're super small. So we'll see how they go. When they actually do make it out, I sort of expect my wallet to be emptied by it.
I mean, I have the the Heroes of Cybertron minifigures. I mean, that they sort of came and went, and when they were on the shelves, they were half the price of that. They're very similar. Yeah,
it's very true.
If you could make a chess set out of them, now that's a different set.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I mean, like, you could if you bought enough of them, but just put some weird hats on them.
Well, Optimus is obviously the king. What are you talking about?
Is he? I thought Optimus might be one of the pawns.
No, he's just a prime.
Yeah. All right.
So 3.175 centimeters. These things.
They say they're world's smallest, and goodness me, that's tiny. But yeah,
that is pretty. I see. They're standing on coins, not bases. So yeah. I think I'll be ordering the Prime. Obviously, it's small enough to probably insert into a.
Be very careful what the next word you say is.
Have earrings or something.
So yeah. I've got the picture up of them all sitting on piles of coins. Now, it is worth noting that the designs for these they do very well match some of the better known Japanese designs for these figures. So the fact that they're producing these at the scale that they're producing that is quite notable. But so they're under 4 centimeters tall each, $25. Maybe I could do it for all three. We'll see.
I would actually say I wouldn't take them out of the packaging, because they do have the mini packaging within the packaging. I think they're designed to just look like a whole entire mini packaged figure.
Yeah, but you could just take them out and leave them in the mini package.
Yeah, that's what I want to do.
But I'm saying you don't need the world's smallest branding around them on your shelf.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I just have this little Prime with me everywhere I go.
I thought Prime was already with you everywhere you went.
Well, no, you can always have more Primes with me.
This is true. So I'm not entirely sure if these are slated for release soon in any local stores. I believe they might be listed on Amazon, but I'm not sure if they're on Amazon Australia. But I may well go out and try to find the 3-pack. We'll see. Shall we move on to the next one? There's only a couple of stories left. This one's close to my heart. If I just once again expand my view of the camera, you can see. Watch me do my TV weather girl impression. There's my Transformers pinboard up on the wall behind me. So of course, as soon as I heard that, there's new. What are we doing? Let's go for that. Let's go for that layout. As soon as I heard that there were new Mondo merch. Sorry. As soon as I heard there were new Mondo merch pins, Jazz, Ravage, and Soundwave joining the pins designed by Tom Whalen from last year of Prime, Megatron, and Bumblebee, I, of course, immediately opened the link and ordered them. So big thank you to TCCA member Morgan Maroney for hitting me up on Twitter and telling me about these as soon as they were released. I should have them in the next few weeks. They're going to be shipped within America to my Com Gateway freight forwarding account, and then I'll work out how to get them over from there. There's one last story for us to talk about, and this is one that actually, Alan, you'll actually be happier about. And I might throw to you to talk about this. The Titan Masters Attack is a new add-on pack for the Transformers collectible card game. Take it away.
That's okay. Yeah, it's up to the 5th wave is coming out this year of the card game, and they've deviated from following the toy line this time, and instead of doing the Earthrise, they've gone and going with headmaster theme, and they've created a bit of a gimmick of the cards actually have removable heads. Ooh. So yeah, they've got Cup there, and the idea is that there'll be another little card, and that will, if the character dies, the head transforms into its counterpart, and you've got another character there. So that's very interesting. And this set, they've added some cards to boost the abilities of some of the cards that didn't get used so much in the first waves. And they don't have pictures yet, but there will be a Titan size Fortress Maximus, which has both headmasters, Cerberus, and such. And that'll be coming out. The last wave had a full Triptychon set that came with the if you bought the box. So and this one's gonna a Fortress Maximus, and I'm guessing a Scorponok will come out in the next wave. So you can literally just play the game as one of the Titans against someone playing all their own little cards. Which
I think a Scorponok is a good bet since he's the next Titan.
Yeah, and I think that'll probably match up with the one that ends up coming out in the toy line. I believe that's we've all seen the sort of the hints of coming out from Hasbro. So look, yeah, the game's definitely just gone in a slightly wacky, interesting direction. No one really knows. They're showing off Cup, particularly because he was a notorious peg warmer character of the first wave that not really anyone liked, and they've decided to release a buffed up super cup, super cup, basically for
a jumbo cup.
Yeah, the cup is full to the brim of goodness on this one. So the game's definitely going strong. I go every fortnight to one of the nights, and it happens all around. There's big tournaments all for America and such. I actually know 2 guys that went over to America to compete, and they got mentioned in some of the podcasts and things for the game. So that was interesting.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, it's definitely happening. And I've become friends with some of the guys that play the game, and you discover that at home they've got their own sort of collections, and they go, hey, come and check out the clubs and such. So it's a big tangle of fans of all things coming together now of in different origins of fans of the franchise. So
So look, I'm going to say this, and it's going to sound extremely cruel, so I apologize in advance, but it does feel like the number one thing that I hear from people who play the game is assurances that people do play the game.
They do play the game for sure.
I know. Like I said, it sounds cruel, but I'm just amused that it's one of the first things that we hear. But I'm always happy to talk about the card game when you're on, because you're really into it, and passion is important.
I think there's just certain spots and little spots around Australia where it has taken off, because you just need enough people to mesh together to have that sort of common regular playing type thing. Whereas over in American stuff, there's game shots all over the place. Here we're competing against Magic the Gathering and Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon, all that kind of thing. And some people have gone over and I've seen some dads and their sons come along and give it a go because they've picked up the packs at the local Kmart or game shop and just want to have a casual game, and because they're fans of the franchise, then they're playing with their characters and such. So it's the game's only been out under 2 years anyway. I mean, it's really early days for it, and it's done a lot, in that time frame. If you sort of
it has. That's right. Yeah, we've seen a lot of add-on packs and expansions for the game, and there's a good dedication to enhancing it from Wizards of the Coast. So I'm very happy to see it.
Yeah.
Right, that is the end of the news. What am I going to do? I am going to flip us back to talking heads mode for a little while we talk about new acquisitions, and I'm going to go left to right. Dario, would you like to kick us off? What have you acquired and what have you added to your collection recently?
Most recent acquisition is now there we go. Siege Spinister.
And he's still in his box. What's going on?
Oh, that won't last. In fact, that box will probably be propping up this computer next time. But yeah, I have been waiting for him because I want to get all of the scavengers, the ones from IDW. And until now, there was no good / affordable Spinister around. So this guy, who always looked like two guys stuck together because he's got such radically different colors on his body halves. So the only one I need that is an actual toy-based character yet is Crankcase. I haven't done a new Crankcase yet, but I didn't think they were going to do new Spinister either, so they may yet. Yeah.
You never know what's gonna be slipped into future waves in War for Cybertron. We have got a rung as well if we're after characters from the comics. So, you never know. There could be a Crankcase in our near futures. Now you also had something up for pre-order. I'm going to put the screen share back up, which is the first volume of the Transformers G1 manga from Japan. Do you want to talk about this a little bit?
Yes, it is, as you say, the first collection. I'm not sure. There's still some question as to exactly what is in it, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's still some rights and details being shuffled back and forth because it was. Originally, it was supposed to have been released by now, and it's been pushed back to April or so. But there's a collection of the actual Japanese manga from mostly the G1 era. I think there's a bit of latter-day G1 character stuff in there, translated into English for officially the first time.
I see this panel on the back cover that I'm looking at. Optimus Prime says, "We are Transformers from America."
That's funny.
Yeah, it's not bad footage. It's only cost me $30-something. So
yeah.
I've got the detail of page numbers on the page here. Yeah, 288 pages of manga for $30. And a lot of people have been wanting to see these oft-mentioned, seldom seen Japanese comic stories. And you can see from the front cover, it's got a collection of original G1 and Headmasters and Master Force characters on there. So there's a good clump in there. I've read somewhere, but as I've said, they're still nailing down the details. I've read somewhere that it's going in terms of in story order rather than release order. So anything they did later that was set earlier will be put back in the story sequence at the earlier point.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to that, well, not least to see exactly what it's like after all this back and forth.
I'd be interested to see the stuff with the Star Convoy, where they did that sort of stuff after the movie.
Oh yeah. I'm hoping some of that's in there. I mean, this is billed as Volume 1, so I'm hoping that means there is a Volume 2 if this does well enough. I mean, granted, we're all disappointed that UK Classic 6 just disappeared into the ether, but obviously someone's at least a bit optimistic that there'll be a Volume 2 if they're calling it Volume 1 out the gate.
Look, I'd say they're optimistic there's going to be at least 10 volumes because it's the manga 01.
Yeah.
Like that gives you space to go. Like you could go up to 99.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, look, there's a distant pre-listing for. I just clicked on the author's name for Volume 2 for June 2020.
Well, look, if that actually takes off, that's April and then June for Volume 2. Maybe that's why they've delayed it. Who knows?
Yeah. But
all right,
as someone who's definitely been hearing about these so many times over the years, but never seen anything except a few dodgy scans, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, let us know how you find it.
Cool. Yep.
Sounds good. Alan, how about yourself? Got any new things to play with?
Well, I showed off the Shockwave earlier. We also had a quick talk about him. Enjoyed him. My other little thing that a friend of mine hid on the shelves. The last one in Kmart was this Jada Optimus Prime. It's like a large, just die-cast truck version of Optimus in a nice sort of G1 packaging.
Again, I feel compelled to point out he's still in his box.
I think this one might stay in his box.
Daria, are you going to sit there and take that?
I normally wouldn't, but that actually looks like the box is actually making quite a good display piece for that otherwise static figure.
And, it's...
You've got a hang hook.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
I'm rarely a preserve the box person, but I have seen the occasional one where the box actually turns it from... And also, forgetting this one can't actually transform or pose or anything, turns it into quite a nice display piece in its own right.
Yeah, I mean, I've got an actual Optimus Prime literally in the cabinet behind me in truck mode, so I think...
you're not short on Optimuses, so really.
Yeah, this actually shows off a little bit of the artwork and,
Actually, yeah, could you just hold up the artwork on the sides there for us?
Oh, that side.
Same thing, yeah. So that doesn't look like the original box artwork to me, or is it to you? Does it look like that to you because you're actually looking at it in person?
It looks like one of the reissues. It's in that vibe. It's got the vibe.
It looks to me like some of the art. It looks like some of the artwork that Takara's used on the 2-pack release recently that had the G1 figure and the movie figure, the Bumblebee movie figure. But maybe I'm just maybe it's just the way that the light's playing off the box.
I have got a original box. I'll do a comparison later. We'll do some investigations. I do have a sort of other acquisition, but it turned into a bit of a disappointment.
Oh. What are we looking at here?
The original Optimus Transmetals.
It's quite large.
He's actually bigger than the re-release. The re-release split into 2 figures. The one problem with this one is somebody ripped out his head, and I don't have the prime head. I've only got the monkey head in there.
Oh.
Other than that, I mean, I got it on the cheap, obviously, but is
that why you're disappointed?
Well, I would like the head, there's just no one selling the head. I just want the head.
I'm guessing because they've all been ripped off, all of the ones that are out there in the wild.
Even all the junk ones people are selling, they're all still quite expensive. So it'd defeat the purpose of getting this one. But I might just stick a custom head on there, and he just becomes another Prime. Who knows?
Are his purplish shoulders, are they chromed or are they just shiny?
Yeah, the original one's chromed. The new Power of the Primes one wasn't chrome. That's
amazing how tacked that chroming seems to be after all these time.
On this one, it's done pretty well. Some of it's faded in some spots, but it's one of those figures I never thought I would get. But then I obviously saw it, someone had it, and I grabbed it, and it's like, oh, I really like this figure. I just wish he had the other head. He's got the monkey head. I can have it in monkey mode, but. I mean, it's just those discovering the older figures, and technically it's a Prime, I
love how you can basically justify anything that you want to purchase by just saying technically it's a Prime.
Technically it's a Prime, yeah.
You had Prime Spark in him for a bit, that's good enough.
Yeah, no, I've accumulated a few little, I'm always getting some of the old stuff too, the G1 figures here and there, and trying to put them in together, fix them up, that kind of thing. And obviously working my custom stuff. I've got Decepticon in the background. I've been working on him, and the Prime at the bar. You might have some pictures from the barbecue. I had Prime set up at the bar with drinks. He was even got a Transformers McDonald's cup there on offer. So but yeah. But I think those like we were saying about the Cyberverse figures, I think there's something I'll probably keeping a bit of an eye on, because, like I said, 8 figures, they're not overly taking up a lot of room. I think they're quite fun, but they're, very well, they've stepped up their game to make enjoyable transforming figures that don't look like they're just, empty spaces and and all good transformations. You know, there's actually some technical, like he could actually transform him and get an extra fist if you wanted the whole two hands thing. That whole thing. He's got the weapons. Yeah, they're quite nice. So until next time, I think.
Well, so the police siren has finished going past my house, so now it's my turn to speak. Sorry about that. I muted myself while the cops did their thing. I have. What am I going to do? I am going to do a full screen on my photos of my acquisitions this week. So I did acquire the Siege. Siege Amiga Supreme finally. It came down to $180 on Amazon, which is a price.
That's not bad.
That is definitely not bad. It's $180. It shipped for free. It arrived in 2 days from Amazon. I know people who are still waiting for this figure from whatever place they ordered it from online. So, it's astonishingly good service from Amazon. Well done. Now, I also acquired some figures this week, and for the second time in a row, my new acquisitions are Cyberverse figures, and I'm not entirely sure how I feel about that. That's a lie. I kind of feel pretty good about it. Now, these figures came to light over Christmas. There's the Cybertron. So it's a Cybertron villains subline of Cyberverse. And there's the Quintesson Invasion and Sharkticon's Attack. Now, the centerpiece of the Quintesson Invasion is the first figure that we've ever actually had of a Quintesson Judge. Now, Cyberverse having a sort of its stylized animated style, it is the 5 faces of darkness that we know and love, but they are done in a bit of a cartoony Cyberverse way. I think it works pretty well for them. And the Sharkticon's Attack pack comes with a Hot Rod figure of some kind, which is kind of shit, and 3 tiny, gorgeous little Sharkticon figures. And the little Sharkticons, like their back legs move and their mouths move, and that's about it. But they have a slightly different color on their fins. On the top, there's 2 green and 1 orange, and it's like the cutest thing. So I've, of course, opened them up and took some photos of them all. So I know, right? Like, how cool are they? They're cute little sharkies. They're very, very G1 accurate as well. And also you can see the kind of crappy Hot Rod in the background there. I finally figured out after poking the Hot Rod for a little while, you actually transform this one by rotating the back of the car. Like you can see the line around the back. You rotate that around 180 degrees, and all of the other joints all loosen up, and you can pose him. Like, it's not very good, but yeah. So the Sharkticons are the main focus point of this set, and I very quickly introduced them to one of my Unique Toys Sharkticons, who wasn't really sure what to make of them at first. He's a little bit confused and bamboozled, but very, very quickly took to them all.
Adorable.
I know. Oh, look, you think that's adorable? Wait till you see the next photo. Aww.
Very cute.
So yeah, they are very cute. I've just noticed looking at this that if you look very closely, one of the things, like one of the Sharkticons even has a bit of paint off one of his eyes, which is sort of a bit of a sign of the quality of the figures that you get in Cyberverse sometimes. But yeah, whatever. So yeah, like I enjoyed having a little bit of a play with the Sharkies. They're very, very cute, and I do have the full set of 3 Unique Toys Sharkies, so these ones will go with him quite happily. Then I unpacked the Quintessons, and then my cat demanded attention. So yeah. So the Quintesson Judge comes with 2, I think they're Warrior class figures, Shockwave and Jazz. So I've got another Shockwave, and there's the Judge, and so that's one of the more iconic faces. And they're like I said, you can see that they've sort of got that animated quality to them as well. So there's 2 of the faces there. There's another one there. One more who's people looked at this and just said, "Oh, look, it's Crash Bandicoot," and then this one. So I quite like them as a Cyberverse take Quintessons. Now, I haven't finished season 2 of Cyberverse. In fact, I might do that after the show tonight. I haven't finished season 2 of Cyberverse. I am told that the Quintessons turning up is a season 3 thing for Cyberverse, which I think means they might turn up in the last episode. But we'll see how that goes. The little figures that come with them are not great. However, they are balanced enough to do this. Like Shockwave can balance himself on one foot. He's got a reasonable range of articulation, but he is a small figure, and he's just one of the packets. Now, as you can see, he's got a little thing on his head, which I have taken to mean it's a Quintesson mind control device, which also appears to be sort of the Cyberverse take on headmasters, which possibly borrows a little bit from the way Animated did the headmasters, where the headmaster was a particular device that would sit over the bot's head and take over their mental function. So I think the Quintessons might be practicing a little bit of mind control when they turn up in season 3 of Cyberverse.
Seems like that kind of thing.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Like, you can also see in the background each of these sets actually does come with a pack-in scene background, which is sort of like studio series with the backdrop pieces, and I actually quite like these ones, so I might keep them around. I might find a way to sort of work them into a display. So that you can see the two mind control units there in the front. Sitting on Shockwave, sitting on I said Jazz. It looks like Prowl to me more than Jazz. Sorry. And you can put them on other characters' heads as well.
Oh, and that's another Prime.
Yeah, that's the Deluxe Prime. So like it doesn't actually sit very well on the Deluxe Prime's head, but like it's good enough. It'll be fine if you put some blue tack into it, right? So yeah,
cool.
That is new acquisitions. Now, I think look, we've run slightly over an hour, but that's okay. We packed in a lot of show tonight. Do we have anything else we need to talk about before we finish up for the night?
Do we?
I don't know if we do. On club business, I still have some prizes from the year-end donation drive that I need to send out. They'll be happening this week. Apologies to the people who are still waiting for their prizes. Otherwise, that's actually about it for now.
I think there's a lot of things we can follow up from tonight. In coming weeks and months, I think. I think
we'll see a lot of these come back.
Particularly that the movie news and all that kind of stuff, I think will be hot on the heels of any updates of all that kind of things for everyone.
All right, that's it then. I'm going to end the show. Thank you for listening, everyone. If you're watching along with the live record, which a couple of people have been throughout the evening, thank you for checking us out. You'll find out more about these stories and more in the show notes. You'll find all of us in the Transformers Collectors Club Australia group on Facebook. Officially, we are at transformersweekly.podbean.com. You can also find us on Facebook at Australian Transformers Weekly. You can subscribe to us in your podcatcher of choice, and you will find out all about Transformers Collectors Club Australia at transformerscca.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and we will be back with you in 1 or 2 weeks. We'll see how we go. Like, the 2-week cadence is kind of working nicely for us, but if some big stuff comes up, we'll definitely be on next week. We'll see how we go.
Stay cool, stay safe, everyone.
Stay safe out there.
I have to turn on the air conditioning to stay cool. All right. Thank you, everyone, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Have you been watching Picard?
Oh yeah.
Have you noticed how it was Picard's thing that whenever anyone knocked on the door of his ready room, he'd summon them into a room with come in, blah blah blah, come in, or come, And now everyone else in Starfleet does it. They've all adopted that. Did you watch episode 2 today?
I did.
Yes. So yeah. But like both of them, like both of the Starfleet officer meetings that we had, they're like, "Did come?" It's like,
Despite themselves.
Yeah. It used to be Picard's thing. Now it's just a sign of the greatness that is Jean-Luc. And my God, aren't they pissed off at him?
So, do you recommend it?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. If you like Star Trek and such, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, if you don't like Star Trek, so if you don't watch Star Trek, you're going to be utterly fucking bamboozled by whatever's going on. More so than the Trek fans are, but yeah, well, we've got a pretty good handle on what's happening.
Cool.
All right, it's that time, which means if I move this around, all right,